could be like 100 times more productive. Not just a little boost, but exponentially more productive.
Mm.
Sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
But what if I told you it's totally achievable?
It's possible.
Welcome to Dollar Side Hustle, your go-to podcast for all things side hustle.
Yes.
Today, we're diving deep into the secrets to reaching that level of insane productivity
Right.
and how you can use it to build a successful side hustle.
Okay.
Get ready, folks. We're about to unlock some serious productivity power-ups.
It's fascinating, how much we let ourselves get pulled in a million different directions. But productivity truly boils down to mastering your focus.
Okay, I love that. Let's unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you mean by mastering focus? And how does that apply to, say, someone who's just starting out with their side hustle?
It's about understanding that focus is like a muscle.
Yeah.
It's something you have to train to become stronger.
Right.
Imagine you're trying to build a business
Yeah.
while juggling notifications, emails, and social media.
Like trying to run a marathon while carrying a bunch of extra weight.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So for someone new to the side hustle world, how can they start training that focus muscle?
Think of it this way. Instead of trying to do everything at once,
Right.
pick one task
Okay.
that will have the biggest impact on your side hustle.
Right.
Maybe it's writing a blog post.
Yeah.
Or creating a product prototype, or reaching out to potential customers.
So it's all about prioritizing
Yeah.
and choosing that one key task to focus on,
Yes,
especially when you're first starting out.
exactly.
But how do you actually stay focused on that one task?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be honest, there's a million things that are vying for our attention.
Think about creating what I like to call a tight bubble of total focus.
Oh, okay.
It's like a space completely free from distractions,
Mm-hmm.
where you can fully immerse yourself in the work.
So are you suggesting people rent out like a cabin in the woods
Right.
to work on their side hustle?
Well, not necessarily.
Yep. It can be as simple as finding a quiet corner in your home,
Right.
turning off notifications, using noise-canceling headphones.
Okay.
The key is to minimize distractions and create a space where you can really engage with your work.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially if you don't have a dedicated office space. Like,
Yeah.
how realistic is that for most people?
Right.
But, I mean, even with a perfect workspace, it's still so easy to get sidetracked, right?
Absolutely.
Like, our brains are kind of wired to seek out novelty and distraction.
They are.
So how do we combat that?
So that's where understanding the science behind focus comes in.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of the mirror neuron system?
Is that like something they use in spy movies?
Not quite.
Okay.
It's actually this fascinating system in our brains
Okay.
that allows us to subconsciously mirror the behaviors of those around us.
Okay. That's kind of freaky, but also interesting.
It is.
So how does that relate to building a side hustle?
Think about the people you spend the most time with. Are they constantly checking their phones, jumping between tasks, complaining about being busy?
Yeah, I know a few people like that.
If so, there's a good chance you're unconsciously picking up those same habits.
Okay, so that's a little scary, but also makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like, I've definitely noticed that my own productivity can be influenced by the people I'm around.
Right, exactly.
So are you saying we should just like ditch all our friends and only hang out with like productivity gurus?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
It's about being intentional about your peer group.
Okay.
Seek out individuals who inspire you to be your best.
Right. So how can someone who's like just starting out with their side hustle find those kinds of people, especially if they're working on it solo?
There are so many ways to connect with like-minded individuals these days.
Okay.
You can look for online communities, forums, social media groups related to your side hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Attend local events or workshops.
Right.
Don't be afraid to reach out to people you admire and ask for advice. The key is to be proactive and put yourself out there.
That's such a good point. You have to create those opportunities for connection.
You do.
I think that ties in nicely with another principle that's often talked about in the productivity world, and that's minimalism.
Absolutely.
So when we're talking about minimalism in this context,
Yeah.
it's not just about having a tidy workspace or owning fewer possessions, right?
Right.
It's about simplifying your life and focusing on what truly matters.
Exactly.
Okay, so how does that translate to building a side hustle?
Okay.
I mean, isn't starting a business all about like adding more to your plate?
Think about it this way. When you're starting a side hustle, it's easy to get overwhelmed by all the possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
You might be tempted to try every marketing strategy.
Right.
offer a million different products, or be active on every social media platform.
Oh, yeah, that was definitely me when I first started out.
Yeah.
I wanted to do everything and be everywhere.
Right, and that's where minimalism comes in. It's about being selective, choosing a few key things to focus on and doing them exceptionally well.
Okay.
Instead of spreading yourself thin,
Right.
concentrate your energy and resources on the things that will have the biggest impact.
I love that. It's all about being strategic
Yes,
and focusing on what actually moves the needle, right?
exactly.
So for someone just starting out,
hmm
how can they apply minimalism to their side hustle?
Start by identifying your core offerings.
Okay.
What are you truly passionate about?
Mm-hmm.
What are you good at?
Right.
What problems can you solve for your target audience?
Okay.
Once you have a clear understanding of your strengths and your niche,
Yeah.
you can start to streamline your offerings
Right.
and focus on a few key products or services.
Okay, so it's all about choosing quality over quantity.
It is.
But what about things like marketing and promotion?
Mm-hmm.
There are so many different platforms and strategies out there.
I know.
It can feel really overwhelming to choose where to focus.
Again, it's about being strategic.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to be everywhere, choose one or two marketing channels
Right.
that align with your target audience and your business goals.
Okay.
Master those channels before you even think about expanding to others.
So it's all about prioritizing
Yes.
and being intentional about where you invest your time and energy.
Absolutely.
This is like all really resonating with me.
Good.
But I can imagine it can feel kind of daunting to someone who's just starting out.
Yeah.
Like, where do you even begin?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And it brings us to one of the most powerful tools for productivity,
Ooh, tell me.
the power of routine.
Oh, routines. I love a good routine.
They are the backbone of productivity.
They really are.
And the good news is
Wow.
you don't need a complicated hour-long morning routine to start seeing the benefits.
That's good to know.
Even small, consistent routines can make a huge difference.
Okay, so for someone who is brand new to the side hustle world, maybe feeling a little overwhelmed,
Right.
what's a good place to start with routines?
Think about carving out a specific time each day
Okay.
to work on your side hustle,
Right.
even if it's just for 30 minutes.
Okay.
Make it a non-negotiable appointment with yourself.
It's like treating your side hustle like a real business,
Exactly.
even if it's just starting out.
Yes,
But let's be realistic. Life happens.
it does.
Sometimes sticking to a routine can be tough, especially when you're juggling other commitments.
Right.
So what advice would you give to someone who's like struggling to stay consistent?
Don't beat yourself up if you miss a day or two.
Okay.
The key is to get back on track as quickly as possible.
Right.
And remember, routines are meant to serve you, not enslave you.
Yeah.
So if a particular routine isn't working, feel free to adjust it.
That's such an important reminder.
It is.
Be flexible and adapt as needed. But what about those times when we're feeling like stuck or unmotivated or just plain exhausted? How do we stay productive when we're not feeling our best?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one that we'll delve into deeper in the next part of our deep dive.
Ooh, cliffhanger. Don't go anywhere, listeners.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back with more productivity insights to help you level up your side hustle.
Yes.
Struggling to make money online? Most businesses fail because they're missing one key piece of the puzzle. This new system can help you earn up to $3,493 with no selling. And it all starts with a free webinar happening in just a few hours. Here's what you'll learn: the exact system that's generated over $23 million online and how to use it yourself. The 3 biggest reasons online businesses fail. How to activate 3 profit levers to start making real money. Don't miss this chance. Visit dollarsidehustle.com/no selling to get started today. Tired of the 9-to-5 grind? Check out this new $1,000 per day done-for-you website that generates automated income straight from your phone. It's simple to set up, takes just 15 minutes, and runs 24/7, earning for you while you relax. No experience needed, and it's available worldwide. Ready to start? Visit dollarsidehustle.com/cellphone income today.
Welcome back to Dollar Side Hustle. Before the break, we were talking about the power of routines, especially when you're first getting started with your side hustle.
Right. Routines can be a game changer, but they're not a magic cure for every productivity slump.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes you need to dig a little deeper to figure out why you're feeling stuck.
Okay, so what's the secret sauce? Is there some magic potion for, like, unlocking unstoppable motivation?
I wish it were that easy.
Right.
In reality, it often comes down to understanding and managing your energy.
Okay.
Think of it like this. You can have the best routine in the world,
Mm,
a perfectly organized workspace, a supportive network of peers,
right.
but if your energy is depleted, you're not going to get very far.
Yeah, that's so true.
You can have all the tools and strategies, but if you're running on fumes,
Mm-hmm.
it's tough to be productive.
So how do you actually manage your energy effectively?
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially when you're building a side hustle on top of everything else.
First, you need to be aware of what drains your energy.
Okay.
These are what some productivity experts call energy vampires.
Energy vampires. This sounds kind of spooky.
A little bit.
What exactly are they?
They're the people, activities, or even thoughts that zap your energy and leave you feeling drained.
Okay.
They could be anything from spending hours scrolling through social media
Yeah.
to dealing with a negative coworker. Right.
To constantly worrying about things you can't control.
So it's about being mindful of how you're spending your time and energy
Yes.
and identifying those things that are leaving you feeling depleted.
Exactly.
I know for me, it's definitely social media.
Yeah.
I can get sucked into that black hole for hours without even realizing it.
It's so easy to fall into those traps, especially in today's hyper-connected world.
Yeah.
But once you've identified your energy vampires,
Okay.
you can start to set boundaries and protect your energy.
Okay, so how do you do that?
Maybe it's limiting your social media time,
Okay.
saying no to commitments that drain you,
Right.
or practicing mindfulness to quiet those negative thoughts.
So it's all about being intentional with your time and energy
It is.
and making choices that support your well-being.
Exactly.
But even with those boundaries in place,
Mhm.
there's still going to be times when we feel like exhausted or burnt out, right?
Absolutely.
So what do you recommend for like recharging and replenishing our energy levels? Think about what truly energizes you.
Okay.
It might be spending time in nature,
Yeah.
listening to music, reading a good book,
Mm-hmm.
connecting with loved ones.
Okay.
Make time for those activities,
Right.
even if it's just for a few minutes each day.
Okay.
They're not luxuries. They're essential for your well-being and productivity.
It's so easy to neglect those things when we're busy,
I know.
but they're so important for our mental and emotional health.
They are the fuel that keeps us going.
Yeah.
And speaking of fuel, let's not forget about the importance of sleep.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Yes.
I think a lot of side hustlers are guilty of sacrificing sleep to get more done.
I know it's tempting to burn the midnight oil.
It is.
But in reality, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Okay.
When you're sleep deprived,
Yeah.
your focus, creativity, decision-making abilities all suffer.
So it's actually counterproductive to skimp on sleep.
It is.
Okay.
Prioritizing sleep is an investment in your productivity and well-being. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night.
Okay.
And you'll be amazed at how much more energy and focus you have.
I think a lot of people underestimate the power of sleep.
They do.
But let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we're well rested and energized,
Right.
there are still going to be times when we hit a wall.
Right.
Maybe
Yes.
we're feeling stuck on a project or facing a challenge or just lacking the motivation to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to someone who's in that situation?
Sometimes we need to step back and reconnect with our why.
Okay.
Remember that reason you started your side hustle in the first place?
Mm.
That passion, that dream, that vision of what you want to create?
It's like tapping back into the heart of it all.
Exactly. When you feel like you're losing steam.
Yeah.
Remind yourself of why you started this journey.
Okay.
Visualize yourself achieving your goals
Mm-hmm.
and let that fuel your motivation.
It's like having a North Star to guide you through those rough patches.
It really is. And sometimes that North Star might need to be broken down into smaller milestones.
Okay.
It can be easy to get overwhelmed
All right.
when we're facing a big, audacious goal.
So you're saying it's helpful to break those big goals down
Yes.
into smaller, more manageable steps.
Exactly.
It makes the journey feel less daunting.
It does.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on climbing the entire mountain,
Right.
focus on taking one step at a time.
Okay.
Celebrate those small wins along the way.
Yeah, I love that.
They help you stay motivated and build momentum.
Celebrate the small wins and use that energy to keep moving forward.
Yes.
But let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
There are also times when we have to make tough choices and say no to certain things, right?
Right.
That can be difficult for a lot of side hustlers,
I know.
especially when we're eager to grow our businesses.
It can be really hard to say no,
Yeah.
especially when opportunities come knocking.
Mhm.
But learning to say no is one of the most valuable skills you can develop as a side hustler. It's about protecting your time, energy, and focus.
So when should you say no? And how do you do it gracefully?
Ask yourself, does this opportunity align with my goals?
Oh.
Does it excite me?
Mm-hmm.
Will it move me closer to where I want to be?
Right.
If the answer is no,
Yeah.
then it's probably best to politely decline.
Okay.
It's about being selective
Right.
and focusing on the things that truly matter.
It's about being the CEO of your side hustle
Yes,
and making those strategic decisions about where you invest your time and energy.
exactly.
I love that. That's such an empowering way to look at it.
It is.
But I think another thing that a lot of side hustlers struggle with is perfectionism.
Oh, yes.
You know, we want everything to be perfect before we launch, before we share our work with the world.
Right.
How do we overcome that fear of not being good enough?
Perfectionism can be a real creativity killer.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to remember that done is better than perfect.
Okay.
It's better to get something out there, to test it, to get feedback, and to iterate,
Right.
than to wait for everything to be flawless.
I think a lot of people need to hear that.
I think so too.
It's about embracing progress over perfection.
Yes.
But what about when things don't go as planned?
Mm-hmm.
What if we make mistakes or experience setbacks?
It happens.
How do we handle those moments and keep moving forward?
Failure is an inevitable part of the entrepreneurial journey.
Right.
It's how we learn, grow, and become more resilient.
Right.
Instead of fearing failure,
Yeah.
embrace it as a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, what went wrong?
Mm-hmm.
What can I learn from this?
Right.
How can I do better next time?
So it's about reframing failure as feedback.
Exactly.
It's not the end of the world.
No.
It's a chance to course correct and make adjustments.
Yes.
And that brings up another important point,
Mm-hmm.
learning and growth.
Yes.
How do we stay ahead of the curve and continue to develop our skills
Right.
as our side hustles evolve?
That's where the concept of continuous learning comes in.
Okay.
Make time for reading,
Mm-hmm.
attending workshops, listening to podcasts,
Right.
connecting with mentors.
Yeah.
Invest in your knowledge and skills,
Okay.
and never stop learning and growing.
So it's about being a lifelong learner,
It is.
constantly seeking out new information and perspectives.
Yes.
I think a lot of side hustlers are already doing that
Mm-hmm.
just by the nature of what they do.
Right.
They have to be adaptable, resourceful,
Yes.
and constantly learning new things.
It's true.
But it's about doing it intentionally
Yeah.
and making it a priority.
Exactly.
I love that. Challenge yourself, stay curious,
Yes.
never stop learning.
That's the key.
But with all this talk about productivity, learning, and growth,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to get caught up in the hustle
Yeah.
and forget to take breaks, right?
It is.
I know I'm guilty of that sometimes.
It's so important to build in time for rest and rejuvenation.
Mhm.
Just like your phone needs to recharge, so do you.
Okay.
Make time for activities that help you unwind, de-stress,
Mhm.
and reconnect with yourself.
It's about giving yourself permission to pause,
Yes.
to breathe, to simply be.
Exactly.
And you know what? Those moments of pause,
Mm,
they're often where the best ideas come from.
I agree.
When you give your mind a chance to wander,
Yes.
you open yourself up to new possibilities and insights.
Absolutely.
That is so true. I've had some of my best ideas while taking a walk,
Mm-hmm.
taking a shower, or just zoning out for a few minutes.
It happens.
So don't underestimate the power of rest and relaxation.
Don't.
It's not about being lazy.
No,
It's about being strategic.
it is.
It's about recognizing that you are not a machine
Right.
and that you need time to recharge
Yes.
in order to be your most productive and creative self.
Exactly.
This is all such great advice.
Good.
But there's one thing we haven't talked about yet
Mm-hmm.
that I think is crucial for productivity in today's world. Okay, what's that?
And that is single tasking.
Ah, yes, the myth of multitasking.
Right.
Something we all try to do,
We do.
but our brains are not wired for it.
So when we try to do multiple things at once,
Mm-hmm.
we're actually just switching back and forth between tasks,
Yes.
which can be incredibly draining and inefficient.
You end up doing a lot of things poorly instead of
No.
doing one thing well.
Right.
So the key is to focus on one task at a time
Okay.
and give it your full attention.
Easier said than done, right?
It is.
Especially in today's world of constant distractions and notifications.
It definitely takes practice,
Mm-hmm.
but it's worth it.
Okay.
Start by setting aside dedicated blocks of time for specific tasks.
Okay.
Turn off your phone, close unnecessary tabs,
Right.
create a distraction-free environment.
So it's about creating those tight bubbles of total focus that we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
But this time, it's not just about the physical space.
Right.
It's also about the mental space.
Exactly. You need to train your mind.
Yeah. To stay focused on the task at hand
Mm-hmm.
and resist the urge to jump to something else.
I think a lot of people would be surprised at how much more they can get done
Mm-hmm.
when they actually single task.
It's like a superpower.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's about quality over quantity.
Yes.
But let's be real.
Okay.
Even with the best intentions,
Mm-hmm.
we all get sidetracked sometimes, right?
Of course.
So what are your tips for staying focused when your mind starts to wander?
It's helpful to have a system in place for capturing those distracting thoughts.
Okay.
Keep a notepad handy.
Mm-hmm.
Or use a digital tool to jot down those to-dos, ideas, or reminders that pop into your head.
So you're saying acknowledge the thought,
Yes.
write it down,
Mm-hmm.
and then get back to the task at hand.
Exactly.
Okay.
That way, you don't have to worry about forgetting something important,
Right.
and you can stay focused on what you're currently working on.
That's a really practical tip.
It is.
But even with all these strategies,
Mhm.
there's still that bigger picture to consider.
Right.
How do we make sure our day-to-day actions are aligned with our long-term vision for our side hustles?
That brings us to the importance of having a clear vision for your side hustle.
Okay, I am all about vision boards and dreaming big.
Yes.
But how do you translate that vision into concrete action?
Think about what you want to achieve with your side hustle.
I-
What impact do you want to make? What does success look like for you?
Right.
Once you have a clear picture of your goals,
Okay.
you can start to break them down into smaller steps.
So you're saying start with the end in mind
Yes.
and then reverse engineer the steps needed to get there.
Exactly.
I like that.
And don't be afraid to adjust your vision as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Your goals and priorities may evolve as your side hustle grows and changes.
That's such an important reminder. Be flexible and adaptable.
Is.
Your side hustle is a journey, not a destination.
It's about enjoying the process and celebrating the wins along the way.
Okay.
And sometimes that journey requires calling for reinforcements.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What do you mean by calling for reinforcements?
One of the biggest mistakes side hustlers make is trying to do everything themselves.
Oh, yeah.
They think they have to be a superhero,
Right.
handling every aspect of their business.
Yeah.
But in reality, you don't have to do it all alone.
So you're saying don't be afraid to ask for help.
Exactly. Whether it's hiring a virtual assistant,
Okay.
outsourcing certain tasks,
Mhm.
or collaborating with other entrepreneurs,
Right.
don't be afraid to delegate or seek support.
Okay.
It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength.
That's a great point.
It
It's
is.
about leveraging your strengths
Mhm.
and recognizing that you don't have to be an expert in everything.
Right.
And sometimes the best way to grow
Yes,
is to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you in certain areas.
absolutely. Collaboration can be a powerful tool for learning, growth, and success.
I love.
And speaking of learning,
Mm-hmm.
let's not forget about the importance of feedback.
Oh, feedback.
Yes,
Feedback can be scary,
it can.
but it's so valuable for growth.
It is.
How do we get better at receiving feedback,
Mhm.
especially when it's not positive?
The key is to view feedback as an opportunity for growth,
Okay.
not a personal attack.
Right.
Remember, the person giving you feedback
Yeah.
is trying to help you improve, not tear you down.
It's about separating the message from the messenger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen to the feedback,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's hard to hear,
Right.
and then ask yourself, is there any truth to this?
Okay.
Is there something I can learn from this?
So it's about being open to different perspectives
Yes,
and recognizing that we all have blind spots.
I do.
But feedback is not just about receiving it.
Right.
It's also about giving it.
It is.
How do we give feedback in a way that's helpful and constructive?
Start by focusing on the behavior, not the person.
Okay.
Be specific. Offer example.
And frame your feedback in a way that's positive and solution-oriented.
It's about offering suggestions for improvement,
Yes,
not just pointing out flaws.
exactly. And remember, feedback is a two-way street.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Be open to receiving feedback in return
Right.
and view it as an opportunity to learn and grow together.
This is such a valuable conversation.
Oh.
Learning so much. But we're running out of time for this part of our deep dive.
Don't worry, we're not done yet.
Ooh, another cliffhanger.
We'll be back after a quick break
Okay.
to wrap up our exploration of productivity power-ups for side hustlers.
Done with the 9 to 5 grind and need a way to make extra cash? You can earn $20 to $50 an hour working from home on freelance tasks and projects. Set your own hours and work as much or as little as you like. No experience needed. We'll connect you with businesses looking for help with data entry, typing and writing, sales and marketing, customer service, online research. Ready to start? Visit dollarsidehustle.com/clickearners today. Stuck in a dead-end job and need a way to make extra cash? Businesses everywhere need help with their online presence, and you can earn $20 to $50 an hour writing social media posts, emails, and more. No experience? No problem. We'll match you with available jobs so you can start earning fast. Ready to kick off your online writing side hustle? Visit dollarsidehustle.com/writingjobs and get started today.
Welcome back to Dollar Side Hustle. We've been deep diving into some seriously powerful productivity strategies, and I don't know about you, but I am feeling supercharged just thinking about all the possibilities.
Yeah, it's amazing how much we can accomplish, when we shift our mindset and adopt the right tools and techniques.
Right.
And remember, it's not about becoming like a productivity robot or anything.
Right. It's about working smarter, not harder, so you can create a side hustle that really aligns with your passions and goals.
Absolutely. We've covered so much ground, from creating those tight bubbles of total focus to the science behind focus and the importance of managing your energy, mastering routines, embracing minimalism. It's a lot.
It is.
I feel like we've given our listeners a whole toolbox of strategies to experiment with.
We have. And remember, the key is to find what works best for you.
Right.
Not every strategy is going to be a perfect fit for everyone.
Right.
It's about experimenting, adapting, and creating a personalized productivity system that supports your unique needs and goals.
So true. It's about finding your own rhythm and flow.
Exactly.
But as we wrap up this episode, what's one key takeaway you would leave our listeners with?
Okay.
Something they can implement, like right now,
Yeah.
to boost their side hustle productivity.
If I had to choose just one, it would be this. Take action.
Okay.
All the knowledge and strategies in the world won't get you anywhere if you don't put them into practice. So choose one thing from this episode that resonated with you and commit to implementing it today.
Yeah,
Even a small step can make a big difference.
I love that. It's about turning inspiration into action.
Yes.
Don't just listen to the episode and then go back to business as usual.
Right.
Make a commitment to yourself and your side hustle to implement at least one of these strategies.
And remember, you don't have to do it all at once.
Right.
Start small, be consistent, and celebrate your progress along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Building a successful side hustle is a marathon, not a sprint.
That's a perfect analogy to end on. Pace yourself, stay focused, and keep moving forward, one step at a time.
Yes.
And before we sign off, I want to remind everyone to like and subscribe to Dollar Side Hustle wherever you listen to podcasts.
And be sure to check out the links in the description for some awesome resources and tools that can help you boost your productivity and side hustle success.
Right.
Your support helps keep the podcast running.
To learn more side hustle methods and strategies, visit our website, dollarsidehustle.com.
We've got tons of free resources, articles, and guides to help you on your journey.
Awesome. And remember, you've got this. Believe in yourself, trust the process, and keep hustling smart.
Until next time.
Keep chasing those dreams and crushing those goals.